If you are on the fence of whether TikTok is your next step or not, then this video is for you. I'm going to be bringing on JT Barnett, who has 250,000 subscribers on TikTok and has also helped numerous brands crack the code on their content strategy for TikTok and actually become profitable on the platform. We're going to have a whole lot of fun diving into the hesitations that I personally have when it comes to getting up and running on TikTok, because I know that you too have those hesitations and we are going to bust through them together. So to add one other quick little spin on it, we are also going to be talking about how you can apply your unique design through a human design standpoint when approaching TikTok. I'm a projector and JT Barnett is a manifesting generator, and we're going to look at both sides of this equation. I'm Amanda Horvath, and on this channel, I help eliminate the obstacles to getting you sitting where I'm sitting right now in front of the camera, sharing your message with the world. So if you're ready to get up and running on your video journey, then be sure to check out the quick start guide to video that is linked in the description below. So as I previously mentioned, I am about 90% ready to get started on TikTok, but have hesitations of my own. So we are going to be bringing on JT Barnett to dive into this together and really talk about it. So JT, welcome to the show.
What up? Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
In order to kind of kick this off, I would love to just hear your story, how you got into this whole thing and how you landed on TikTok.
Awesome. So I was a pro hockey player for 5 years. I retired in 2017. I was always the guy on my team that was making content. I liked documenting my life as the journey to try and be at the NHL level. And I kind of built a reputation as like the dude that just like made videos and put himself out there in social media. I retired in 2017 and immediately started filming workouts on Instagram and doing like the wellness game on Instagram. That built me a little bit of a profile and like got me a little bit of notoriety. And that led all the way up to TikTok. TikTok in 2019 started becoming like a new platform. I know everybody heard Gary Vee screaming about it and a bunch of other people that were talking about the new platform of TikTok and what it could be. I ended up going and scrolling on it and really just like falling in love with it as a consumer. I just was really enjoying scrolling. I think people that grew up with Instagram as their like platform of their generation, for anybody that's out there, I just turned 30. So I might age myself a little bit depending on this audience, but Instagram was the platform that I grew up with. And so I think a lot of people just kind of got over the glamorized, polished, fake it till you make it lifestyle on Instagram. So when TikTok came out, it was just a breath of fresh air. You would scroll and you'd be like, wait a minute, these videos are like actually helping. They're making me feel better. I'm learning something. And it looks so easy to create. So I started posting on TikTok and started gaining a little bit of traction, building a little bit of audience. And then I had an idea to start the first adult TikTok house. So everybody that is listening probably heard of Charlie D'Amelio and the Hype House and like the wave of these 17, 15, 18-year-old TikTokers just kind of like blowing up. We were like, what if we do this as adults, put 10 people in a house and film it kind of like MTV Real World? And so that's what we did. And that account ended up going from 0 to 1 million in 60 days. And that really like helped me build a name for myself as somebody that was like a strategist, but also a creator that knew how to do TikTok effectively. So a bunch of brands started hitting me up. I started getting emails from companies. I took a couple of them on as clients, teaching them how to do content. And they popped off, not just from like a views perspective, but from a sales perspective. They started selling a ton of product. And those case studies ended up getting more brands to reach out to me. And that was when I had like an aha moment of, oh shoot, TikTok is going to be something that's like really effective for both creators and companies as a business. This is where I want to put a lot of my time. And so that's what I started. I started doing this as an agency. And that leads me to today, where we teach companies big and small, from smaller, newer mom and pops to big companies like Microsoft, how to do TikTok, how to find TikTok creators to run their account, and how to actually go and make the content with the team that they already have. And then that's what I do today.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why you stood out to me from a TikTok course, as well as your kind of approach to it, is it's not just about creating, it's also about actually making the money, which is what my audience is all about too. We're business owners. Like, I don't necessarily want to be a full-time content creator, right? Like, how do I actually make money translated to dollars? And of course, have fun in the process, because if it's not fun, you're not going to do it, right? So I love that approach to it too, because TikTok
Agreed.
is fun. So a little background for the audience. I ended up joining JT's course. He has a course that is a TikTok master class that is solid. I loved how you went about it and highly recommend. I'll link to it in the description below for anyone that wants to check it out. But having gone through it, gotten the information, there are still some hesitations that I have purely from an energetic standpoint of how to go about TikTok. So I would love to dive into those if you are ready.
Would love to.
All right. The first one that I want to hit upon is security. And this is one that a lot of people can't necessarily, like, you can't solve, but I do want to address this issue. So TikTok, right, there's this, whether it's real or not real, right? It's a Chinese company, and there's an element of them looking at all the data off your phone, and it could potentially be a national security, right?
For years now, I guess TikTok in the US has been saying, don't worry, we store all US user data on servers here in the US. And what this BuzzFeed News report, really a blockbuster reporting, showed from leaked audios is that, according to the reports, everything is seen in China. So the question of where to store the data is a bit of a sleight of hand, because it's being accessed by engineers with ByteDance in Beijing, and they're ultimately beholden to the CCP. And we know that they are in search of sucking up as much data as possible for, whether it's business espionage or all sorts of potentially nefarious purposes. But what we see beneath the surface, that's just the sheep's clothing, is it's pulling biometric data, face recognition, voice print, search, browsing history, keystroke patterns, location information. And what we know is that the CCP, if it gets all this data, has all sorts of ends that it can achieve. It looks at, again, business, industrial espionage, blackmail activities. So there's a lot of reasons to be concerned.
Now, I'm not going to say, hey, can you fix this problem? But one thought that I have had that I'm curious if this could potentially work for people with this hesitation is, let's say, you're like, I have an iPhone 12, I think this is, and I'm like, let me get the iPhone 14. Let me keep this as like my TikTok phone, clear it, keep the app on my phone and be able to scroll on here whenever I'm actually engaging or anything like that, but then shoot the content on the other one. Could that be a potential solution? Obviously, that's a privileged solution, but could that be a potential solution? And what else have you found in terms of people really talking about this problem?
So you would have a second phone that you would shoot the content on, but then your main phone would have like all of your personal information and everything on that one?
Yeah, so I would say like one phone would just be like literally just your TikTok app that you're downloaded into, right? In a way. And then all the rest of your actual phone that you could shoot your content on would be separate. And this will get us into the batching conversation too, which I also want to talk about. But yeah, I just wanted to first and foremost address that because it's the elephant in the room with TikTok.
Yeah. I think people make a bigger deal out of security issues than they actually care about it. I think that, like, for me, it's not a concern at all. Chinese company, American company, I think of, if somebody has my data, I feel like it will go to a better usage of targeting of ads for me. And so for me, it's like, okay, if they get my data and then all of a sudden, rather than getting targeted for like a Toyota 4Runner, and now I'm getting targeted for tripods and things that I actually shoot content on, I have no issue with that. I would actually prefer that. And so I think for some people, I think they should look twice at like what they really are concerned with. Yeah, I think there's maybe some cause for concern of like if they have access to just everything, but I don't lose sleep over it. I give my password on random websites every single day, that if there was some sort of malware that was coming into my computer, they would have access to my entire life. I do that every day. I don't have a concern with it. So that kind of stuff doesn't really worry me.
All right, cool. Well, we addressed it, and we're going to come back to it as we kind of move through the batch recording thing, because, you know, I'm 31 years old, so we are the same generation, right? And I know that there's like people that are split on it, which is why I want to address the elephant in the room with it, especially in the older generations. So we're going to circle back to that being a potential solution for those of you that are concerned with this. Now,
Cool.
The second one that I want to hit upon is this energy element of it. So as I previously mentioned, I'm a projector in human design. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about, check out the Quick Start Guide to Human Design in the description below. Mind-blowingly amazing personality test that helps you align your business model and marketing strategy to your unique design. Super cool. JT is a manifesting generator, and manifesting generators have a very fast energy. You have an energy that, so long as you are doing something that you are satisfied doing, you will not burn out. Very different than a projector who, it doesn't matter how satisfied I am doing something, I will be more prone to burnout. So, which brings me to, when I was going through JT's course, JT talked about how the ideal posting schedule right now for TikTok, right? Roughly 3 times a day. And when people first hear that, there's like this hesitation to it in a way. And I think that the first thing that I want to say is the way that you talk about that is, it's almost like Instagram stories, hopping on Instagram stories 3 times a day is not that absurd. So in some ways, if you think about TikTok from that capacity, it could be manageable. What would you say first and foremost from like the posting schedule thing? And then we'll kind of dive into the creation strategy as well.
My thoughts around posting is you should do it as much as you physically can. Here's the caveat though, while being able to stay consistent and sane. Because for some people, they can post 7-8 times a day and it's like that because the production is so easy. And for me, you know, making speaking videos where I'm just like clip, talking to the camera, post. It's easy for me to post a couple times a day. It's not like a big undertaking. For other people, and maybe it could be like an energetic thing. It also could be just like the production level being really high. For other people, it might be more challenging to post more than one time in a single day. And if those people try posting 3 times a day, every single day, in a matter of months, they're going to be burned out. So my main thing is, we don't want you to lead to burnout. We want you to have self-awareness to really understand who you are and how you excel. For most people, if they can post 3, 4, 5 times a day, you're going to have more chances at success. So obviously, I think it's better to post the most that you physically can. But if you post 3 times a day and in a month, you're posting 0 times a day because now you hate the platform and you're burned out, that's not a win either. So I think it first starts with self-awareness and understanding like what's realistic for me to post as much as I can consistently, and then going from there and seeing how you feel after doing that. Totally.
And to kind of give some context as well to this, when he says you're more likely to, like hit the algorithm or take off if you post more often, that's because TikTok is very much an experimentation platform when you're first getting started and you don't know what's going to work. So if you're testing things faster, you're going to figure out what's working quicker than if you were doing it slower. Is that accurate?
And it's free. It costs $0 to post a piece of content. So you're
100%.
gambling with free money. What it does cost is your time and your energy and your creative. And so if you're willing to continue moving through that and putting pieces of content out, then you have exponential chances at getting success on the return. So for me, it's like, how much can you physically put out to where your energy is still good, you still enjoy it, and you're able to sustain it? That's the amount that you should do. For some people, that's 10. For some people, that's 1 video a day. For some people, that's 3 times a week. There's no right or wrong with it. The more you put out, the more chances you have. So that's what I try to look at.
Yeah, totally. Which is why I think most people are starting on considering TikTok at a different level. Like that's why I'm considering it at a different level, because if you look at Facebook ads and how Facebook ads have changed and the whole iOS problem messing up, all of the security things, like they no longer can target people as well as they used to be able to. And that we're in this data conversation right now where that could potentially get worse and worse. So being able to leverage organic traffic is really, really key in that way. Okay, so here's the idea that I have for the audience. And once again, y'all, like, we're not going to be talking about the tactics necessarily on TikTok. I think JT's course runs through it so well in terms of like the here's where you post, here's how you do this. Like, we're talking high level in a way. And so the idea that I have is, could I approach it just to get started imperfectly, right? I'm all about imperfect starts. Batch record X number of videos, let's say 30 videos, maybe 15 videos one day, 15 videos the next, let's say 2 days of content creation every month. How is that going to, and then pass that off to an outsourced editor that could edit the videos so that I'm not editing the videos, once again, from an energy standpoint, and then have someone also post on my behalf. But then I could get on, which brings me to that other phone situation, get on and see how well the content's doing, still engage with people that are watching the content and understand what's working and what's not working in prep for my next batch. Curious of your thoughts on that.
Yes, it absolutely can work. So let's talk about batching content. You absolutely can go film a day, get 15 pieces of content, and then have that periodically posted over the next couple of weeks to be maintaining an output of a video per day on TikTok. The issue that I have with most people trying to batch content is that they don't want to put in time into the platform. And I think a real reason why I've been able to build the community that I have is because after I post, I don't close the app and bounce. I sit and I reply to comments, and I go and watch other people's videos and reply to comments on their comment section. So I think that it's important for you to be spending time in the platform outside of posting. But like you mentioned, if you post those 15 and then go on your other phone and are diving into the comments and seeing how it's doing and saying hi to people and all of that, then it's great. My big worry with people batching content is that they want easy and fast rather than slow and challenging. And that really is actually how you build a real community, is it doesn't happen overnight. It happens by those hours that you're putting in after you post and engaging with the people that are spending the time to consume.
Completely. I totally agree, which is why I think for the audience, like, it's really important to think about where is the business owner's time best used, right? So if you are someone that wants to batch record in a short period of time and then still engage, that becomes in a way like entertainment and forming relationships in your mind versus like content creation, which a lot of people can like almost label as like work because it's hard and it takes time to show up and whatnot. And I don't want to be creating 3 times a day. I don't know if I have the energy, like females being like, I don't want to put on makeup 3 times, every day, right? Kind of those kind of hesitations. So I think that is, it sounds like it's a potential opportunity so long as you continue showing up, which I'm really glad you stressed.
Yeah. Everything that everyone's trying to accomplish on social media is relationships. You're trying to build a community of people that you have genuine relationships with, whether you think your goal is selling product, whether you think your goal is going viral. What everybody really wants is to have a group of people that care about what they say and what they're talking about. That doesn't happen if you just show up for 1 second and then bounce. Think about a real relationship in real life. Like, you're not getting on the phone with somebody and then never talking to them for 2 weeks and then getting on a phone and being like, we have a serious relationship. Touch points matter. So the more that you're in the comment section, the more that you're posting content, the more you're going live, the more you're in other people's comment sections, the more you're in your DMs, every single one of those touch points is adding to the relationship that the audience has with you. That's why it's important.
Totally. Yeah, no, that completely makes sense. All right, which brings me to my last hesitation. And then I want to see if any hesitations that come up from when you're talking to business owners. And I also want to hit upon the face, hiring a face, right? I think that's a good potential. So the last one is really like the commitment level in terms of, and I talk about this with YouTube all the time, like, don't be a flash in the pan that's like, oh, I'm going to do this and then disappear, right? Oh, it didn't work, right? It takes that time. And within JT's course too, he has like a section of case studies, which I thought was genius. that was awesome, where he broke down like how they started with their strategy, how it kind of over time got better, and how they honed in on it. And even though people talk about TikTok being this viral platform, it doesn't mean that you will get viral results from the beginning, right? So, from a commitment level standpoint, what would you say is a realistic expectation for when to expect growth? And I know it's not the same for everyone, but as a loose outline, what would you say?
I try to tell people not to judge the analytics until they've been posting for 90 days. Because I think what ends up happening is, one, people want things really fast. So that is already something that's hard for people to hear, because they want to look at things after day 3 and be like, why is it not working? I just think that you really need to give the platform time to understand you as a profile. You need the time for the audience to understand what kind of content you're going to be putting out, and then build that relationship with you. And you need the sample size. You need the amount of videos that you've posted to hit a certain amount to where you can go back and look at common characteristics in videos and be like, oh, in this one, I said it this way, and I said it again this way later, and both of these have a lot of views. Maybe that works. But if you only look at like 4 or 5 videos and be like, what's right, what's wrong? The sample size just isn't big enough. So I like to tell people you need to have at least a couple of months before you're really getting real data. If you're posting multiple times per day, then maybe, you could get it in a month and a half-ish, but you need real sample size. So I would take 6 to 8 to 9 weeks before you're really looking back and making real changes and like deeming if things are working or not. You can make minor tweaks to things, say a hook a different way, shoot a series in a different area in your house, whatever, little things like that. But I think to really make big assumptions, you need to wait the proper time.
Yeah, and 90 days really isn't that long compared to some of the other platforms. So I think that's a solid approach. Okay. What other hesitations, and then we'll start to kind of wrap up here, but are there any other hesitations or thoughts that you think people should be kind of thinking through of whether or not they should dive into TikTok?
I think the amount of, one, it's not too late. So I think people see a lot of people jumping onto the platform and are like, wow, did I miss that boat? You didn't miss that boat. Platforms typically have a lifespan of about 7-8 years. If you look at Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, there's typically like a 7-8 year window for where it's like really relevant before another one comes out and is now like the new one that people spend the majority of the time on. So let's just say TikTok's in year 2 of that. You still have 4 or 5 years before it really is like starting to, other things come out. So you definitely have time. The second thing, the main thing that I feel like I spend the most of the time teaching is just, you can't go into it expecting it to be easy and be like, this is going to happen immediately for me and I'm going to have overnight success. The challenge with that is there are people that have had quick success because of the organic virality on the platform. So everybody knows a person in their life that has gone and posted on TikTok and in like 3 weeks has like 50,000 followers. And so they see that and that's what they remember. And they're like, that's going to be me. That's where my standard is. I want to post for 3 weeks and have 50,000 followers on TikTok. And that's not the reality for 99.9% of people. For 99.9% of people that have success, it's going to be a challenge. There's going to be work that goes into it. And it's going to take a level of you committing to it to get real results. And so I want people to like go into it and know that the payoff is worth it, but it also is a lot of work that it requires for you to put in to get there. And I think a lot of people don't
just
go
like
into that.
anything, like
Just
people
like anything.
with social, like, okay, my audience is entrepreneurs, right? If you start your business and you're like, oh, it's not going to work in a month, like, and you give up, right? Think about all the obstacles that you've hit along the way.
Yes.
That's what separates an entrepreneur from someone else that is looking for a paycheck, right? So it's the same sort of thing. Go ahead.
The parallels between drop shippers that thought they were going to get rich overnight and new TikTok creators thinking they're going to go viral overnight are so similar, because everybody now is seeing these creators that are coming out and posting videos and in 3 weeks getting actual real audience. The same way that people saw actual people that were doing drop shipping and finding success with it, that now people go on Alibaba, find a product, build a landing page, think they're going to get rich. Now people are like, I'm going to go create TikToks about my life, build an audience, do brand deals, get rich. Everybody wants things quick. 99% of people that are posting on TikTok will not have that success. And so I think you need to really think about it as, for me to build a real audience and have a real community, it should be a challenge. It should be something that takes work.
Totally.
Maintaining and fostering real relationships and getting people to genuinely care about you should require a level of challenge. Same thing as starting a business. When you're trying to acquire customers and get them to buy a product, when they don't know who you are or have any reason to care about you, that should be a challenge. It shouldn't be something that's easy. Though on the flip side of that, the payoff is super worth it. Everybody that's listening to this right now that is a business owner knows getting people to buy stuff from you is an amazing feeling. The same way as creators, building an audience from zero and having them genuinely care about you is an amazing feeling. But make no mistake, it is not easy. It is hard work.
Amen. And one quick nerdy human design thing that I want to point out for those of you that are into this. So JT, or a lot of people, they say, like, I talk about the sales and marketing channel often within human design, which is the 44 to 26. I'll put it on the screen. And everyone's like, well, what if can I not do sales and marketing if I don't have this channel? JT does not have this channel, right? Like, he is crushing it, so it's not necessarily that it's like definitive either. And I wanted to throw that out there because there's an element of that a lot of people like create excuses around. Okay, last thing, because I
don't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
But let me just say this. Going back to that self-awareness, and I think human design is such a great tool for self-awareness to like understand you, who you are, how you work the way that you do. For some people, being the alpha entrepreneur, number one, that is the ideator and the executor isn't the thing for them. It might be that you need to actually spend your time finding somebody that is that person, and maybe you're a great number two, and maybe you're a great co-founder and somebody that can like do all of the back end of something but doesn't want to be the public facing person on TikTok. That might not be you, and that's okay. You need to have the self-awareness to know like, what is the stuff that I actually genuinely will enjoy? Because like you mentioned before, you want to do something that you enjoy. You might not be that person that needs to be in front of the camera every day. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. You need to spend the time finding who you are and like what it is that you really enjoy. And then you'll be off to the races.
100%, which is where I was going to take this next. So I'm glad that you brought that up, cool. Right? It's like, and from a human design standpoint, once again, right? Yeah. Know who you are. Know that you're either a doer or a guide or a manifester that's kind of here to more manage and point where people could go. All of my minions line up. Let's make this thing happen. Right. And so if someone is watching this and they've watched it up until this point, which if you have, definitely be sure to click like and drop your comments below and letting us know the questions that are popping up for you and what business you have in general. We would love to know because clearly you're interested in this. So let's say someone's watching and they're like, all right, yeah. Cool. This seems cool. This seems like a potential, but could I hire a face, right? Do I have to be the face? So let's talk about that.
Such a great segue. On that same note of you don't have to be the person, there is a wave right now going around, which I have a thesis will be immensely impactful, that every company will now be bringing in a creator to run their account and be like the personality if they don't already have somebody within the company that can do it. That could be the founder, that could be the CMO, that could be like literally a social media manager, but somebody that is actually like the face of the company. The way that I like to make it really easy for people to think about is like a Jake from State Farm or Flo from Progressive, somebody that's like the mascot, but that has like a personality that people can relate to. I see that more and more every day, which is now that's why something that we offer as a service as a company. But I see that happening more and more every day where companies are having that same issue. Like we just said, founder comes to me, goes, hey, I love TikTok. I believe in it. I don't want to be the person. I just don't want to film my day. I don't want to talk into the camera. I like being more behind the scenes. I love running my company, but I don't want to be the person that's like in front of the camera every day. For me, I'm like, great self-awareness. That's amazing. Go and hire somebody that wants to do it. bring them into the company, have them become part of the team, and let them make content on behalf of you guys so that the audience can build a relationship, because every company needs that person for the audience to build a relationship with. And so that doesn't need to be the founder. That can be a creator. I see that being a massive trend moving forward. And if that's you, that's like in that same kind of place as a founder or a CMO, or even a person on the content team that's just like, look, I don't want to do this on TikTok. This isn't me. There are plenty of creators out there that are looking to do that job for you, that want to be in the four walls of a company and run the brand's content and be the face of it and would do a great job of it. And that's something you guys should look at.
And JT is really running that initiative too, right? That's like what you're doing in your business. So we'll be sure to link to that. Yeah, in the description below for anyone that is interested in that, because I think this is definitely an interesting way to move forward and not let it hold you back from grabbing the traffic that is online and building deep relationships, right? I think that's ultimately what it is, for sure. Well, JT, I so appreciate you coming on and chatting through these hesitations. I am probably going to make a decision here soon of whether I'm about to dive in and make it happen, and we will do follow-up.
You're diving in. That's not a decision. You're diving in.
I'm like 99% there. I'm pretty much ready to make it happen. So it's gonna happen. Cool. So where can people go and find you? I've mentioned a few things in the description, but give us your lowdown.
Yeah, so everything from me is JT Barnett, Barnett. That's pretty much on every platform, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. The same way that you're diving into TikTok, I'm about to be trying to dive into YouTube, 99% there. But I will commit to that if you will commit to TikTok, so we can
do it
each other. And yeah, like just for everybody listening, like it's the same thing as starting a new meal plan or a new workout program, or just adding in something with your daily routine. Take it in bite-sizable steps. Like you don't even have to go all in and start posting 3 videos a day if that's not you. Do something that's easy, that is sustainable. If that's a video a week, if that's 3 videos a week, if that's a video every day, do something that you feel like you can dive into, and then just build on that consistently, so that you're not burning out on week 3, and so that you enjoy the process of it, which is the most important part of the whole thing. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this and you've decided you are about to go all in on TikTok, go ahead, drop your comments below, letting us know, drop your handle in there too, and we can all start supporting one another. So thanks for watching. If you'd like to dive into more content, then I will link to several on the screen here that you can check out next, and I'll see you in the next video.